So you just picked up the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 and you're looking to get the absolute best out of this great little camera. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to walk you through which settings to dial in for the best looking footage and also a few slightly hidden features that make this camera even more capable than it looks. So let's get into it. The first thing I recommend changing on your Osmo Pocket 4 is kind of a hidden setting, but you'll find it when you swipe down on the main screen, go to settings and go down to where you see bitrate. By default, this is going to be set to standard, but you want to change this to high. This basically increases the amount of data that the camera records per second. More data means more detail, smoother colors, and footage that holds up much better when you start playing around with it in the edit. Yes, the files will be a bit bigger, but the quality difference is real, and especially in high dynamic range scenes or anything with a lot of movement. Just make sure you've got a fast enough SD card or you're using the internal storage. Now, one of the biggest upgrades from the Pocket 3 to the Pocket 4 is that it shoots in something called D-Log. If you swipe left on the main screen and scroll down to where you see color, you'll see that by default it will be set to normal 10-bit. And even though this is not terrible for some scenarios, if you really want to get the absolute most out of this camera, you need to switch over to D-Log 10-bit. D-Log is a true flat color profile that allows for much more flexibility when color grading. You can bring out a lot more details and colors when you're starting off from a log image, so in the end you're gonna get the best looking footage when shooting in this color profile. Now, you don't want to be filming with your Pocket 4 and seeing that flat log image on your screen. So if you look on the right here where you just selected D-Log, you can turn on color recovery. This applies a preview transform on your screen so you can see a roughly graded version of what you're shooting with normal contrast and normal saturation, but it's only for monitoring. So nothing is being baked into your footage. So the actual recorded file is still full D-Log. One little tip here, if you're new to color grading, DJI actually provides a free LUT to convert D-Log footage to a standard color space called Rec 709. You can find the LUT on their website, and this is a great base to start your color grade. Alright, the next settings are going to help make your footage look a bit more natural and less digital. Swipe left to go to your camera settings and find image adjustment. There are two sliders here, texture and noise reduction. You can play around with these settings to get what you like, but I recommend setting both of them to -2. Texture is basically digital sharpening, and it's going to make your footage look a lot more processed and digitally sharp. So by turning that down, it's going to look a lot more smooth, and if you end up wanting to add sharpness to your footage, it's super easy to do that in post-processing. And I like to keep the in-camera noise reduction to a minimum simply because I can always add noise reduction later when I'm editing the footage and I've got much more control over it. Whereas if the camera applies it directly onto the footage and it's baked in, it will be much harder or impossible to actually take it off. Now let's look at resolution and frame rate settings. When shooting in landscape mode, the highest resolution available is 4K, and that's also what I recommend shooting in. It has the highest quality, and with over 100 gigabytes of internal storage in the Pocket 4, there's no real reason not to. When it comes to frame rate, you'll want to shoot in 24 frames per second if you're in North America, and if you're in Europe like me, you'll want to shoot in 25 frames per second. These are kind of like the cinematic standard for shooting video. If you want to shoot slow motion at about 50% of normal speed, you can shoot at 50 frames per second in Europe or 60 frames per second in North America. But the Pocket 4 also has a dedicated slow motion mode where you can choose frame rates like 120 FPS or 240 FPS, which will get you super slow motion footage. However, it's important to keep in mind that in this slow motion mode, you can't shoot in D-Log, so you get that not so nice standard look baked into your footage, and you're not going to have as much flexibility when grading. Now, whatever frame rate you pick, it will determine your shutter speed under the 180-degree rule, which we'll get into in the next section. Swiping left again in the camera settings, you'll see an option for your exposure settings right here. Switch from auto to manual to control these settings. On the left, you can set your shutter speed, and this is one of those things that makes an immediate visible difference on how cinematic or filmic or whatever you want to call it your footage looks. An 180-degree rule is actually very simple. Your shutter speed should be double your frame rate. So as we saw before, if you're shooting at 25 or 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be 1/50. If you're shooting slow motion at 50 frames per second, your shutter speed is 1/100. If you're shooting at 60 frames per second, it's 1/120. What this does is give you natural looking motion blur, the same kind of blur your eyes actually see when things move. Without it, and especially if your shutter speed is much too high, movement will look stiff and weirdly sharp. Now typically when you're shooting in normal daylight, setting your shutter speed to something like 1/50 will most likely overexpose your image. So that's where ND filters come in. DJI has this set for the Pocket 4, but you'll also find a number of other options online as well. And they all do the same thing basically. They reduce the amount of light hitting the camera. That way you can follow that 180-degree shutter rule without overexposing your image. So now that you've got all these settings dialed in, a huge timer is to save these settings to presets. Swipe down from the top and then under the first menu option here, you can save different presets. You can, for example, have one custom preset for whenever you're shooting regular speed 25 FPS footage and another preset for when you're shooting 50 FPS slow motion footage. And then you don't have to go into the menu and change any of your exposure settings or anything like that. You can just tap on the mode selector icon in the bottom left here and select between custom mode 1 or 2. But it gets even better. One of the new features on the Pocket 4 is this new customizable button below the screen, and most people don't even bother setting it up. So long press the button to get into its settings. You can assign different actions to a single press, double press, or triple press. Now you can set this up however you like, but I, for example, have double press set to switch between custom mode 1 and 2. That way it's super easy and fast to flip between normal shooting and slow motion shooting. Alright, next I want to show you some handy active track features. So most of you will probably know that with active track you can double tap a subject and the gimbal will follow it. But in the Pocket 4 there are a few things built in on top of that which are worth knowing about. The first one is great for anyone using the Pocket 4 to film themselves, and it's gesture control. If you swipe down from the main screen, you'll see this waving hand icon in the top right. Here you can enable gesture control and change its settings. With gesture control enabled, you can activate tracking by simply holding up an open palm. And you can start and stop recording with a peace sign gesture. And the other thing I think a lot of people don't know about is dynamic framing. When active track is running, it will typically place the subject in the center of the frame, which can sometimes be a bit boring. But when you press this icon in the middle on the left of the screen here, you can select dynamic framing. And now you can set a specific point to where the camera is going to compose your subject while tracking. So for example, in the left or the right third of the frame. And the camera will hold the subject in that spot as it's tracking. And this is just going to look a lot more interesting and professional than being dead center in every shot. So the gimbal on the Pocket 4 has 4 different modes, and knowing which one to reach for makes a real difference on how your shots feel. To switch between them, just swipe down from the top and tap the gimbal icon. Follow mode is default and honestly the one you'll probably use 90% of the time. The gimbal smooths out your hand movements but still responds naturally when you pan or tilt. So it's great for walking shots, vlogs, or anything handheld. Tilt locked mode keeps the camera perfectly level vertically no matter what your hands are doing. It can only pan left and right, and this is the one to use for push-ins, pull-outs, or any sideways tracking shot where you don't want any accidental vertical drift creeping in. FPV mode unlocks all 3 axes, including the roll axis, so the camera mimics every movement of your hand. Tilts, rotations, and everything else. It's not something that you'd use for everyday filming, but for dynamic, intentionally chaotic shots, it will work great. And this last mode will keep the camera in the same direction as the touchscreen. I think this is a good option when you're, for example, filming yourself, because you'll typically have the screen facing you. And if you press and hold the joystick, the gimbal locks completely in place and holds its position regardless of how you move. So this is again really useful for clean forward push-ins or something where you really need the camera to stay perfectly still. And right next to the gimbal modes, you'll also find the rotation speed settings. Here you can set the movement speed of the gimbal to slow, default, or fast. Now, I'd recommend keeping it on slow for most filming situations. It makes your gimbal movements look much more intentional and controlled rather than snappy and abrupt. But fast is great if you're tracking something that's moving very quickly and the gimbal feels like it's too slow and lagging behind. Alright, next are a few smaller settings that are easy to miss but great to be aware of. Swipe down on the main screen, swipe to the left to the second page, and on the bottom right here, you'll find the reference line menu. Here you can turn on a grid overlay. And this is basically gonna give you a visual reference for framing your shots, which can be super handy. And an interesting setting to make the whole startup to filming time super fast is the screen rotate and capture option. Swipe down on the main screen, swipe left to the second page, and it's the third icon right here. When you enable screen rotate and capture, it makes it so that when you flip the screen open, the camera will not only turn on, but also immediately start recording. This can be great in situations where you really don't want to waste any seconds to start recording. And another simple setting that can make life easier for you is found in the gears menu right here, and it's the first option, gimbal startup direction. This basically determines in which direction the camera is facing whenever you start your Pocket 4. So if you primarily vlog with your Pocket 4, you might want to set this to backward. That way the camera will always face you as soon as you power on the device. Alright, so if you stack all of these settings and information together, you're going to be getting the best experience and the best footage out of your DJI Pocket 4. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you have any other questions, just drop them down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!